Despite its age, the Nintendo Switch is still going strong. We saw games that appealed to almost every kind of Nintendo fan, from Kirby and the Forgotten Land to Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Here are GameSpot's 5 best Nintendo Switch games of 2022, and a few honorable mentions at the end for good measure. Before we get going, keep in mind that these games are in no particular order. Mario + Rabbids Kingdom Battle was a bizarre mashup of Nintendo's Mario, Ubisoft's Rabbids, and XCOM-like combat. It worked incredibly well despite its disparate elements, but the follow-up proved itself much more than a mere iterative sequel. Mario + Rabbids Sparks of Hope is an improvement in every meaningful way, borrowing just enough Mario DNA to make a tactical experience that's unique to the genre. The most obvious difference is the free-flowing movement, allowing you to run around the battlefield almost like you would in a traditional Mario platformer. At first, this change may seem superficial, but it actually has a profound impact on gameplay, allowing you to chain your squad's moves one after another to gain a tactical advantage over your foes. The Spark system too gives you an enormous amount of flexibility over your team composition and strategy for an experience unlike any other game in its type. Steve Watts wrote in his review, "Put simply, Mario + Rabbids Sparks of Hope is an absolute delight. This is a combination that shouldn't work, and yet it more than works. It excels." With its hybrid combination of TV and portable functionality, the Nintendo Switch is an ideal venue for deep, meaty RPG experiences. It doesn't get much more substantial than Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the latest epic from Monolith Soft. The sprawling tale of warring nations tackles themes of sacrifice and community, and while its delivery is sometimes held back by awkward dialogue, it's enough to care deeply about these characters once the story hits its stride. Equally ambitious is the revised combat system with 23 classes and unlockable master arts that add an extra layer of tactical flexibility. A streamlined menu system makes it easy to manage your MMO-like party, and the result is a system that rewards experimentation as you play with different party compositions and loadouts. That level of complexity gives the experience its longevity. As our reviewer, I'm the reviewer, still found new options and master arts after 120 hours in. One of Nintendo's most recognizable mascot characters, Kirby, has seen his fair share of platformers, along with more experimental projects on handheld platforms like the Nintendo DS. Even so, the little pink puffball still managed to surprise us this year with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. The more open-structured platformer is akin to the Mario 3D Land and World games, with diorama-like environments filled with challenges and obstacles to overcome. This time, the world is built to look more realistic, with real-world objects like traffic cones and even cars for Kirby to gobble down. When he takes on a particularly large object, he transforms into mouthful mode, a clever way to get new gameplay functionality out of his classic eating mechanic. Not only that, but the game also gives us upgradable versions of many of the classic Kirby power-ups. You don't have to settle for a little flame ability anymore, as you can become a lava-spewing terror instead. It all culminates in one of the wildest endings in a Kirby game to date, showing the character still has some tricks up its sleeve. Does Kirby have sleeves? You get the idea. Pokemon fans got not just one, but 2 major Pokemon releases this year, and they were each special in their own way. In our opinion though, the standout was Pokemon Legends Arceus, a prequel that takes place in an era inspired by the Japanese colonization period. The new setting allowed for a very different take on the Pokemon formula, including a semi-open world structure full of sprawling environments to explore. Rather than the traditional quest of catching wild Pokemon and raising to the ranks of Pokemon Master, Arceus put you in the role of a Pokemon researcher. This meant completing research tasks like defeating a certain number of Pokemon, capturing a certain type, and more. The gameplay changed to facilitate this new take on the Pokemon norm, with the ability to catch Pokemon in the wild by simply tossing a Pokeball without being seen. It mixed stealth, traditional Pokemon mechanics, and exploration into a package that was hard to resist. Wii Sports was a genuine phenomenon that we don't see in video games, the type of breakout success that inspires mainstream press attention and finds its way into the lives of non-traditional gamers. It only makes sense that Nintendo would follow up on the Switch, with its Joy-Con functionality acting very similar to the Wii Remote. Nintendo Switch Sports is the result, a new package that brings back popular sports like bowling and tennis alongside new events like badminton, soccer, volleyball, and Chambara. Like the best social games, Switch Sports is best if you can gather a bunch of friends together to complete goals, knock each other around in an epic sword duel, and more. And Nintendo has made a habit of committing continuing support to games like this, as it recently added golf to the Switch Sports repertoire. It's a great little package that scratches the itch that made the Wii Sports such a hit. Kurt Indovina wrote in GameSpot's Nintendo Switch Sports review, Nintendo Switch Sports is a fantastic multiplayer game that, for the most part, invites anyone and everyone to pick up a controller and flail their limbs about. It has its issues, but they fall away when you have other people to play with and are joyously going toe-to-toe in virtual sports. As with the original Wii Sports, Nintendo Switch Sports finds beauty and fun in simplicity, and bowling is great, better than real-life bowling. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get to the honorable mentions. Why don't we start with the Nintendo exclusives? Nintendo's colorful multiplayer shooter Splatoon returned in 2022. Splatoon 3 had the same infectious charm as its predecessors, but packed it with a ton of new and returning content. If you're looking for a vibrant and original take on the competitive shooter genre, then look no further. Along with splatting the competition, you'll need to ink the playing field in order to win. In addition to the tried and true multiplayer modes, Splatoon 3 also has a robust single-player campaign with some excellent boss fights and a bite-sized wave defense mode called Salmon Run. Let's drop another third entry in this list and highlight Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 3 is Platinum Games at its peak. This multiverse-hopping character action game is an explosive adventure chock full of colorful characters, hectic set pieces, and ridiculous weapons, including a train sword, or a sword train depending on how you want to look at it. Its visuals do suffer a bit, but the absurd action and Bayonetta's charming wit more than makes up for its technical hiccups. Mario has starred in countless party and sports games, but they are almost never as technically complex and skill-testing as Mario Strikers Battle League. This game pits the Mushroom Kingdom All-Stars against each other in a wild soccer bout, complete with various pieces of armor-like equipment to don and big flourishes in the form of unlockable shots. While the content offering is a bit anemic compared to the best Mario sports games, this is one for the fans who take their virtual footy seriously and want to prove it out on the pitch. Card Shark, developed by Nereal and published by Devolver Digital, is an adventure game that has you cheating your way to success. It takes place in 18th century France and boasts a colorful art style. Of course, there is a lot more going on in the story than meets the eye. If this piques your interest, I highly recommend checking out the free demo on the Nintendo Switch storefront. A lot has already been said about Nier Automata at this point. Many consider it one of the best games in the last few years, and now you can play it on Switch. Typically, we try to stick to new releases for our best of the year coverage, but we were blown away by how well this port runs on the little hybrid console. If you haven't had the chance to check out this Platinum Games gem, consider this a sign. There it is, our favorite Nintendo Switch games of 2022 and 5 honorable mentions. This should be more than enough to keep you busy over the holiday season. Let us know your favorite Switch games in the comments below, and with that, we'll see you next time.